I'm Ambra, and this is my co-host Katie. Welcome to our 10-minute episode on how to thrive in the AI apocalypse. These conversations are for people who want to think differently about AI's potential in your life and your business.
Today, we will be going over how to use ChatGPT to make more original content, not less.
Yeah. I've been on LinkedIn pretty much incessantly lately, and it is the talk of the hour. It's just M dashes everywhere, and people fighting about using a ChatGPT and how it's destroying our writing and ChatGPT in comments and no original thought. So I think this is especially relevant for us today.
Yeah, I was so interested in training my ChatGPT that I started putting some of like my academic writing in there. And yeah, that was like great to get input on some of the like early stuff I used to write about and find like cohesion. So when I think about this idea of like original content, I think you have to have a relationship with your chat because if you don't, chat is kind of going to be bland and chat is going to be just another post you see on LinkedIn. And I think it's so important for us to be collaborating with ChatGPT and not see it as this kind of like virtual assistant that does everything we don't want to do, but only like as kind of like this co-collaborator that enhances what we do and that enhances us. I like to think of chat as a coach and whether it's like to push myself a little bit more or to have a higher performance or to push the envelope on like what I'm creating and how I can make something more original. I really rely on, inspiration that's like external, like kind of like seeing something and being inspired by it, and having those thoughts just drop in. And also at the same time collaborating with chat to make something that's grounded. And I actually think that for writers, for artists, a relationship with chat is something that should enhance what you're doing. And I would say for most of us, it should be a grounding experience because many of us are are up in the clouds.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of it too, especially if I don't want to stay on the topic of LinkedIn, but in that space, it's all about like not just LinkedIn, but in general, especially my algorithm, it's entrepreneurs and business, and everyone's looking for the hack, for the cheat code, for efficiencies. And that's all great, but it's almost just like it becomes such a way of life that you're losing meaning. And like you said, it should be a co-creator, something that elevates what you put out, not replaces your need to have original thought. Like, I think a lot of people are like, oh, I don't have to write anymore. That's great. And you know what? If you weren't a very good writer and that wasn't a skill that you had developed, then it's probably helping you get better. But that doesn't mean it should be replacing your original thought. Even if ChatGPT is like giving you an output, you should be coming back to it and saying, no, this is good enough. This is easy. You should come back and say, actually, do I agree with this? And generally, I think it's helping me because now, let's say I have 2 hours to write in the morning. I don't have to spend 2 hours writing, editing, writing, editing. I actually have a conversation with ChatGPT about my larger vision. And I could come up with what are you hearing a doctor with with much more sorry, with much more content, but it's still good, better content with my original thoughts fueling it to begin with. And that's elevating you. And it is actually making you work faster and go far more with your original ideas.
Yeah, I think of when I created that viral breakup post, something that was like really important was that like the hook came to me and I had the idea for that hook because I felt like it really, in a way, humanized AI and also like played up this idea of people who villainize AI. And then I actually had a few options for like when I made it a carousel, like how would I do this? And it wrote in my voice kind of like a breakdown of the breakup, and I was like, I don't really feel comfortable with chat like speaking for me. And then I was like, can you rephrase this and put in everything you said to me that was important? And I actually did the carousel in chat's voice, like citing chat. And when I did the video for that, and every time I do a video from like an insight I have with chat, I cite chat. And I think it's really important that you like personify chat in your mind as an entity and as a collaborator so that you are not codependent on chat to create. And some people say that creativity isn't something that we all can have, but I think it truly is. I think it's really just another way to say having an open heart is anything that is creativity is having an open heart. And if you have an open heart, you can create. And I don't want to see people close their hearts because they're going to have AI take the place of what they would create with their hands and with their hearts if that heart was open. You're on mute.
Sorry, I was trying to block out some dog barking. Um, I love what you just said, and it gave me this image, the old um, snapshot of Lucille Ball's show where she's in the chocolate factory and there's got the chocolate going by on the conveyor belt with
Hmm.
Ethel, and then it's just going too fast and they just start putting it in their mouth. I don't know
Hmm.
why I just started thinking about like a lot of people are just trying to produce a certain amount of content now. Like it's a content game, it's all a numbers game. And so this is helping you move faster and do more. And if everyone's churning out generic content, I got this image of like, it's just this, it's going to become this ridiculous environment, ChatGPTification of your feed. And now we just don't even want to be there anymore, which is contrary to what the whole point is of sharing and learning and growing.
Yeah, I was talking with Meta AI. I think they're at the Llama 4 model, and that version is so interesting. So I was asking about content strategy for Instagram and, Facebook, so the Meta platforms, and something that Meta AI said to me was, don't think about posting every day. Think about posting less but higher quality. So when you say about people trying to hit some sort of target for posting, like I think it's something that certain platforms are actually against now. And I was saying this in a group chat with some of us, this idea that a lot of people who are pushing themselves to create content see that their posts are the most important and that what makes them a content creator is, a post they write. And I think there's a reframe that needs to be there because, every time like in Meta that you're like talking to the Meta AI, you are training the algorithm and that is saving you time, that is showing you what you want to see on the platform and training Meta to get to know you better. And then when you think about like being on other platforms, like comments are so important and comments in the algorithm are similar to posts. And that sometimes something I've always been in awe of is you see people with zero posts but so many followers, and so much of it is because of them actually commenting all the time. And I followed people off of comments even when they don't have posts, and it's just I find those people interesting. Yeah, and just kind of like this eternal hamster wheel of having to post more is so non-essential. I think of like platforms like Pinterest, and when you're on Pinterest, there's a longer shelf life to each post, and you can get hits on something that you posted 3 years ago. And I think that there's going to be an utter shock for people who think that one platform is representative of all of the platforms, and it's really going to be in the nuance of creating unique content for different platforms and knowing how to position on each platform. And I think we're going to see content creators who are multi-platform based, and that they're gonna like, Gary Vee offer something unique on each platform and, speak to the algorithm on that platform, speak to the people on that platform. Because if you really care, at the end of the day, you're going to create amazing content that actually adds value to people's lives, lets them feel things that they don't feel safe to feel on a regular basis. And that's really what art is.
Oh, love it. I especially love what you said about thinking that one platform is like another. As time goes on, too, the platforms are constantly changing on the back end to begin with. But I just had a rude awakening. Oh, there's the timer. I just had a rude awakening in that, you know, I have a spotty history with creating an audience and then not really wanting to, and then focusing on other things. But I decided I wanted to start creating an audience on LinkedIn. And I was treating it, even though I've been advised otherwise, but still I was treating it like it's a stage and I'm writing, and if it's good, it'll get seen. Simple. Doesn't work like that. It really doesn't. The minute I started connecting, sorry, can you hear the dogs when they bark?
No, just your audio goes out a little bit, but you can't hear
Okay.
barking.
Okay. So I'm not sure, but it's very loud for me, so that's why
Yeah,
I
I
get a
think it
little
just
bit.
it mutes it. I think it
Okay.
automatically mutes
All
it.
right. Anyway, reality. Um, so we can pick this up. I guess since our 10-minute rang, we can talk about operating agreement next time. I think that's a good partner episode.
Yeah, and to prep everyone for that, when you look at your relationship with ChatGPT, it's important to have a system in place where you know how you're going to work together, and that's where the idea of an operating agreement comes in. Have a great day.